thing I want to talk about tonight is comparison shopping. So when you think of cheap grocery stores or cheap food, you think the dollar store, you think Aldi. Type in some other places that are in your area that are like your cheap stores. I know we have some. Growing up, we had like Pick and Save. I think that was more for clothes though. Or you had the bread store, right? I loved the bread store when I was younger because we would always be able to get snacks there when my parents would take me because it's the only place we could afford them. Discount stores are amazing for people that need them. However, they also aren't as cheap as they make themselves out to be, right? So for example, if you're shopping like at the dollar store, it's okay, there's nothing wrong with that, but you're not getting the best deals because while you may only be paying $1 for something, most of the times your packaging is going to be smaller, and you're going to be paying more. So it just seems like you're paying less because it's $1, right? But it's not. You're paying more. It's normally not name brand. So if you do comparisons to store brand versus store brand, it usually pulls up the same. So for instance, I went to Aldi this weekend in preparation for our first talk about comparison shopping and how to make groceries cheaper and things like that. My husband had mentioned, hey, Aldi is supposed to be like really, really inexpensive. Why don't you go shop there and check it out? Now, my first thought was, are you kidding me? I don't want to have to go to another store. I already shop at 2 different stores per week as it is. It takes up so much time comparison shopping between those two. It takes me about 30 minutes to really, that's not a long time, but to do my list, and then I have to go back through and figure out which store is cheaper. Now, I do all that online. If you have not gotten into the online shopping realm for groceries yet, I highly, highly suggest it. It will save you so much time and so much money. But for the purpose of research, I went ahead and went out and went to Aldi. Now, I had been to an Aldi, I think one time like years ago. And I don't even think I ever bought anything because I was just kind of turned off by the look of the grocery store and the way it was, and it just didn't really appeal to me. But like I said, in the nature of research, I wanted to go ahead and give it a try so we could make sure we get the best information for you guys. So I put my quarter in the slot. I had to have some help with that because they had changed things and I wasn't sure how to get the card off. So that was interesting. Got some help, got my cart, and went to shopping. Now, Aldi does not carry name brands. That's one of the ways they say that they are able to have lower prices. So that's the first thing, right? The quarter in the cart is another thing. They, what else do they do? They don't have bags. They have them, but you have to pay for them. They don't bag groceries, so they save on labor. So all of these things they're doing, and they're doing so that they can pass savings on to you, right? So they would have you believe we're so much cheaper. However, the truth is they're really not. If you compare their store brands with Kroger store brands or Walmart store brands, they're really only a few cents off, okay? Not much at all. But it doesn't make up the difference because, again, if I'm bagging my own groceries, I better be saving a lot more. I don't have that kind of time. It's annoying. Like, for some people, it might not be a big deal, but I get aggravated. I don't have time for that. I shop online. They bring me my groceries to my car, and I head out, right? Like, I'm all about quick convenience because grocery shopping, if you let it, can take up all of your time. Another thing is they also don't accept coupons. So where these other stores will accept coupons, even in Kroger, for example, will send you coupons for their store brand, right? So, and you can get them digitally so you can save more that way. And we also shop at Publix sometimes, and they also accept coupons, and sometimes we'll have them for store brands, which is great. But Aldi does not. Aldi doesn't do coupons. So again, they're losing because 1, you're bagging your own groceries. 2, I have to have a bag. I have to pay for my bags, which obviously you can bring your own, and that's the idea because, it's saving the environment, and I love that idea. But as far as, it being a convenience factor, I'd rather you just bag my groceries for me and send me on my way. Less time. Time is money, right? So we don't want to waste that if we don't have to. So here's what I came up with for my comparison shopping. We just picked a couple of items that I knew I could find at any of the store and that they would have store brands of, and so we could compare store brand to store brand. Because you really can't compare a brand name to a store brand because it's like comparing, Walmart to Lexus, right? It's just not the same. So you can't compare store brand to name brand, or to store brand to name brand. So I wanted to get items that I knew could have a store brand that you could find anywhere, And so we did that. So the first item we came up with was milk. Okay, so now Aldi matched with Walmart at milk for a 2 gallons of milk, or a gallon of milk. It was about $2.19 a gallon, and that is also how much Walmart has their milk for. Kroger was only 10 cents more at $2.29 a gallon. I bought some chicken drumsticks for our family. We buy the big packs because we have a 5-person family, and I'm not going to try to buy 2 little packs because it's not worth it, right? So we bought the bigger packs. Now, Aldi had the win here. Those drumsticks were 99 cents a pound. Great price. And anytime you can find meat for 99 cents a pound, you absolutely want to get up as much as you can of it without going overboard, because that's a great price. The Kroger was at, or Walmart came in second for that one for $1.26 a pound, and Kroger was at $1.59 a pound. Chicken breast, Walmart and Kroger were right at $1.99 each, and Aldi was at $1.66. Now, I will say this. The quality of meat that I got from Aldi was okay. It wasn't like the worst, but their chicken breasts were huge, which means you can tell they were ingested with a lot of hormones, right? So if that is something that you're not really into, I would definitely not shop at Aldi for my meat. I normally don't shop at Walmart for my meat either, because they have kind of the similar situation. However, Kroger at $1.99 doesn't usually have the huge ones. You can find the smaller ones for a pretty good deal. So that's something to consider when you're grocery shopping and trying to get comparison shopping. We also buy turkey bacon in our house. So Walmart doesn't have a store brand of turkey bacon, so they were kind of out for that one. And the difference between Kroger and Aldi was only 10 cents. Kroger was $1.99 and Aldi was $1.89. Again, you can see here, it's only a matter of like a couple of cents, 10, 15 cents sometimes, and it's just not worth the extra aggravation of having to pack your bags, having to, put your little quarter in the cart and do all that stuff, and having to pay the extra for the bags. And also the amount of food they have there, they don't have a lot of selection. So if you're somebody who likes to try different things, definitely don't go to Aldi. Greek yogurt is something that Adam eats a lot of. They only had a store brand. He's not a fan of their store brand, but they did win in that aspect. Not by much though. Their store brand was 59 cents for one Greek yogurt. Walmart has them at 67 cents and Kroger at 70. Baby carrots, same thing, 89 cents at Aldi, 99 cents and 98 cents respectively at Kroger and Walmart. Let's see, one of the places where they actually did bad was ranch dressing, right? So salad dressing. Their 36-ounce bottle was $2.79. Now that seems like a good deal. However, when you look at Walmart or Kroger, theirs is $1.98 and $1.99. So it's actually more expensive at Aldi for like salad dressing. Same thing with tomatoes. So their tomatoes, their produce is a little weird. Like it's supposed to be like this really great cheap produce, and this might just be my Aldi's, but it just didn't look that appetizing. The lettuce was brown, the bananas were slimy. Like it's not produce I would buy. So especially if you're not saving a ton of money, I wouldn't want to do that, because it's probably not going to last as long, right? So a couple more cents is not going to make a difference. And then we tried, my husband's been eating a lot of Oreos lately. Sorry, Adam, not really a lot, just like a package a week. So we've got some store brand Oreos. Now, theirs are also more expensive for their store brand than Walmart or Kroger. Kroger's store brand is $1.69, Walmart's is $1.58, and Aldi's was $1.89. So, total price for these items, the highest price, and this is only because they didn't have the name brand or the store brand turkey bacon, was Walmart, and that came in at $16.23 for those items. At Aldi was second place, and they were $15.35. And believe it or not, the lowest, cheapest price comparison for all these items that we bought was Kroger, and it was at $14.65, and that was without any coupons. It was just with the average sales they had and things like that. So it's very important to comparison shop every now and then, just to figure out where the best choices are for you. And things you want to consider are, one, your time. How long is it going to take you to shop there? Can you do it quickly? Do they have online services? Is it going to save you time? Do you have to bag your own groceries? Do you have to, is it like the dollar store where you're paying $1 per item? So that's going to add up really quick, because nothing's usually less than $1 there, right? That's how they kind of get you. So just do some comparison shopping and figure out what the best place is for you to go. And that's the best I can tell you. So I have that study up on our Facebook group and the files. You can look at that line for line and do your own comparison shopping. This will be different in your area. I know grocery stores will vary greatly. We have Food Lion here. I don't have a whole lot of information about them. That's probably another one I might want to check out. We have Publix here. I frequent them a lot. Their customer service is amazing. Kroger is great. I haven't had any problems with Walmart. I tend to get my produce from Kroger or Publix just because I like it better, but that's just a preference. But if you're really looking to save money, Walmart's great. I definitely don't, turn that down. All right, so let's talk about our second subject, Thanksgiving, right? So Thanksgiving is my absolute favorite holiday. And if it's your favorite holiday, leave me a little emoji or something and let me know, because I will talk about Thanksgiving all day long. So in my house, it's like a 3-day event. For the first day, I do all my prep cooking, and I make my desserts and get those ready to go in the oven. And I make up anything I could possibly make the day before. I get my turkey ready and all that stuff. The next day, my first day, I can't forget, I drink my 1 bottle of wine I have a year. I drink it on Thanksgiving Eve, and I do it while I'm cooking. I swear it makes all my food taste better. I don't know. And then on Thanksgiving, I get up and I do all my actual cooking, and then I shop the next day, right? I'm all ready for that. So here are a few things that I do to kind of make it to where it's not such a hassle. Because what used to happen is I would spend probably about $200 to $300, which is, $200 usually, which is more than a week's worth of groceries for my family. And that was on one meal. Because I, of course, take on all of Thanksgiving. I don't let anybody bring any food. I'm just like, come to the house. I will cook it all. And yes, the wine, Sandra, that's my thing. Only on Thanksgiving, though. So we'll have to FaceTime and drink some wine together on Thanksgiving, since that's the only time of year I actually do drink it. All right. So anyway, so I spent about $200 because I wouldn't let anybody bring anything, and I do it all myself, right? So what I started doing, because I knew that I was going to spend this no matter what, because Thanksgiving's mine and nobody can take it from me, is I would start splitting it up, okay? So when it comes to probably middle of October, I make my list of everything I want to cook. And this is usually very similar things. I make about the same stuff every year. I'll usually ask my family if they want something special, and they'll give me like 1 or 2 things, and it is. And when I say I go all out, I am not kidding. I make 3 to 4, maybe sometimes 5 appetizers, so we can all eat on those while I'm cooking. Then we have our main meal, and we do it all, right? We don't skimp on anything. Everything is there. And then desserts, I usually have 4 or 5 desserts. And we don't have a huge family for coming for Thanksgiving, but I still make all the food because it's my favorite thing to do. So it's expensive. So what I started doing was splitting it up. So like I said, in the middle of October, I'll usually start making my prep list for what I'm going to make for the year. And I'll break it down and figure out what I need for all of the items. And I'll break it down into like pantry items. I'll break it down into like refrigerated items, freezer items, like anything like that. So, and then what I do is I split those up into between weeks. So obviously the stuff that's refrigerated that's going to go bad, that's the last things I buy, right? Those are the fruit, all that stuff. That's all the last thing I buy. Sorry guys, I'm talking so fast I'm getting out of breath. Anyway, and then my pantry items I'll buy first, because I usually have more storage space for those, and so those will go into week 1. My freezer items will go into week 2, and I'll split those, and then week 3 I'll do some more stuff that I forgot, or like spices or anything I might need, and then the last week is when I do all my fresh items. And so this allows me to kind of cut my budget for that week, right? So where we'll usually spend about $150 a week in groceries, I'll try to make it a cheaper week for all of November, and make some easier dinners. For 1, it's cheaper and it helps save us money. For 2, I'm getting ready to cook this massive food, and I'm not going to want to cook a whole bunch after it or before it because it takes a lot of work. So I will make easier meals, cheaper meals, things like that for those times, and that way it gets my budget down, and I'm able to spend the extra money on Thanksgiving, and it's not any longer a burden or an extra expense. It's just a regular grocery shopping trip. So hopefully that helps you, and will help you save some money on your Thanksgiving. As far as decorations go, you can always decorate like with natural things. I know Saru's not on here right now, but if you're watching the replay of this, and you like to do something different every year, look in your area, your area of nature, and see what you have that can be autumn decorations, right? and use those. And if not, then just buy something once and use it over and over again. That's what we do. And then I'll add like little touches here and there for little touches, like extra touches that don't cost me anything. Or like I might get a free pumpkin at the farmer's market or something. I'll add it as a centerpiece. So it's pretty cool. All right, so that is what we talked about so far. If you're just joining us, we have discussed how to save money on Thanksgiving and price shopping comparison. I can't talk tonight. Comparison price shopping for your groceries. So the last thing I want to bring up tonight is meal planning. So if you're like me, you want to make dinner for your family as much as you possibly can, or you want somebody else to. Maybe your husband's the cook in the family. That's fine too. But I really enjoy having family dinners with my family. And that means I cook dinner most every single night. Now, if you're like that, you also know that it's a pain in the butt to come up with these dinners, right? Like it sucks to have to say, what do you want for dinner this week? And they'll be like, oh, I don't know, whatever you want to cook, right? It's aggravating. And then you have to, so I'll scour the internet and figure out, okay, what sounds good? I'll look at my cookbooks. What looks good? It's aggravating. So I did something one year, and I probably won't go this extreme again, but this definitely has me thinking of something that we can do as a community. So I made an entire year's worth of meal plans, and I would just, that month I knew what I needed to shop for, and it was fantastic. And it was great. It worked, but I also found that maybe I didn't want to make it that month and whatever. So I decided maybe a month worth of meal planning is enough, not necessarily a year, because that's a little extreme. And I don't have that kind of time to do that again. So another thing I was talking with somebody earlier was, while you're trying to get out of debt, one of the things that you're first going to hear is cut your grocery budget, right? Cut your food budget. So how do you do that? How do you cut your grocery budget? How do you cut your food budget? Nobody wants to eat rice and beans. I don't. We didn't while we were getting out of debt. We did. I don't eat rice and beans. Adam wishes I ate rice and beans because he's from Louisiana and he loves that kind of stuff. I hate beans. I'll eat rice all day long. I hate beans. It's just, they're not my thing unless they're like baked and barbecued, and then we're good. Or maybe in some chili. But other than that, I'm not eating rice and beans. So we will never suggest that to you. However, as I was talking to one of my clients earlier today, we discussed, like, how cool would it be if we could come up with a list of meals that because everybody has their go-to cheat meal, right? Like the thing that you make whenever you're on a super strict budget and you don't want to eat just rice and beans, and like your go-to comfort, maybe just good meal. So what if we put together an ongoing document where people could add their favorite meal with maybe a link or the recipe to it, and then we can just pull from those instead of having to ask our families, what do you want from dinner every night? So as a community, I would love it if everybody could contribute their ideas, and I'll start a post for it in the next day or so, and then we can all just add our favorite recipes, and just the only requirement is it can't be an expensive recipe, right? So it's got to be under, let's see, what's a good amount? Under $10 to make it? I think that's pretty fair, right? That's a pretty good amount. Even cheaper, the cheaper the better, but no more than $10. We'll call that the cap. And that's not per serving or anything, that's just for your whole recipe. So for instance, chicken and dumplings is my favorite, and I love some good chicken and dumplings, and that is a very cheap dinner. We make that for hardly nothing. And so I love that, especially in the fall. So I think I'm going to put together that. Awesome. Lisa, you like it? Sandra, you like it? Perfect. I love it. For 4 people, sure, we can do it for 4 people. My family has 4 people in it. We used to have 5. I feel like these cheaper meals are usually casseroles or soups and things like that, and you can probably get more than 4 people out of it. But however many it feeds, ideally 4, but whatever, it doesn't matter. So we'll start putting that together, and then once I have enough of them, I'll compile them into a spreadsheet, and then you guys can just kind of pick and choose, and or maybe not a spreadsheet. We'll figure out some sort of way to do this, and then maybe we can figure out a way to automate it, and it'll just pick it for you, and nobody has to spend money on these super expensive meal plans, and we could all just work together to give everybody meal plans. I think I'm loving this idea already. I can't wait for it because I really really hate coming up with dinners to feed the family, and we do it week after week. Another cheap meal idea: chicken fried rice. Very cheap meal idea. Love it. My kids absolutely love chicken fried rice. Tonight we did baked spaghetti. That's another one that's not super expensive. to do, and it's got I don't know, pepperoni and like turkey, and it's got all kinds of meat in it, but it's delicious and it's super inexpensive for how much you get out of it. But yeah, so let's do that. I'll make a post over the next day or so, and just keep an eye out for that, and we will start adding our favorite recipes. Again, the only requirement is they're less than $10 for 4 people. And let's get everybody cooking again and not eating out and not buying the meal prep programs, because while those are great, they don't really help you save money, right? Because I actually looked into those. I was like, ooh, I wonder if one of these meal prep plans would be good for me. Yeah, they wanted way too much money, and they didn't even cover all my meals. So while it might have covered like 4 of my meals, that's servings, that's one dinner for my family, and they wanted like 60 or 80 bucks for it. I was like, that's not for me. So I think those are good for single people, and you could probably do really well with that. But if you're a family, not ideal. So let's just get back to cooking and even meal prep. You know, we talked about meal prep. Something I did, especially that's really good in the fall, because I know a lot of people on here, fall is really busy, right? So for fall, our family, we have sports. We have all the activities we want to do because we live in Tennessee, and the gorgeous colors are everywhere, and everything happens in October in Tennessee. Like, it is the busiest month ever. There's all kinds of festivals and craft fairs and all kinds of activities, and everything happens in October. So it's a very busy month. So a lot of times you'll get home late and you're not going to cook. You don't think of defrosting things in the crock pot. So what I do is I do prep meals, and I'll get just a whole bunch of meat, whole bunch of vegetables, and some different marinades, and I'll put them all in bags, right? In the Ziploc bags. I'll cut all my meat up, I'll cut all my vegetables up, I'll put my marinades in, and I'll just pop them in the freezer. And whenever I'm ready for them, I can pull them out and I can throw them in my crock pot. It's perfect. It takes 0 time to make the meal. So you just kind of pick one day of prep every month, and you just do that, and I can just pull when I don't know what I want. And so that's another really good idea on how to meal prep. Crock pot dinners. Yes, Lisa, I live for crock pot dinners in the fall. They are the biggest time saver. I feel like I need to get an Instapot because I hear so many good things about those. Don't have one. Another thing I really enjoy is our air fryer. Love our air fryer. I'm able to do stuff super quick in that. So yeah, so really good ideas. Keep them coming. I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. It's getting kind of late, and I still